And you never know who's going to come by and visit you on Radio Row. But although I have to admit I had a little bit of help because in Atlanta at the airport, I was at the gate with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then I took a selfie like a stupid fanboy, and she was in the background. I thought, well, let me get her permission to post this picture on social media because it wasn't like a posed picture. So I went up to her and I said, Congresswoman, is this picture okay? And Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from the 14th Congressional District in Georgia, you said to me, Mike, nobody ever asks me if it's okay to post this picture on social media, but of course I did. But you said sometimes people come along and take a picture of you coming out of the ladies' room.
Oh yeah, they take pictures anywhere, anytime, any place. Don't ask permission. It's pretty shocking.
It's a different world out there.
But you were so kind to ask, so I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciated seeing you, and you were like, of course, a rock star. So many people appreciate your fighting spirit. We got a lot to talk about, and you're so kind to come over and visit with us for a few minutes here on the Mike Gallagher Show because, number one, I want to ask you about the Secret Service. You're on oversight. We want to talk about the accountability that should be expected by this government. But before we get into that, look, you've got MAGA in your veins. You're a fighter. You're a warrior. JD Vance was announced yesterday. A lot of people on the left say, "Oh my gosh, he's too much." I saw somebody say he's too much like Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's bombastic. What's your takeaway, Congresswoman, on the selection for the vice presidential running mate?
Well, I can tell you he is a lot like Marjorie Taylor Greene. As a matter of fact, I was the first member of Congress to endorse JD Vance. I campaigned hard for him when he was running for Senate, and I pushed President Trump to endorse him. I was a leading figure to get him on JD Vance's team, and wow. President Trump endorsed him, and we got him across the line, and I'm thrilled that we did. JD Vance is America first, and he believes very much the same things I do. And we have legislation that we introduced together. I sponsored a bill in the House first called Protect Children's Innocence Act. I had done that last Congress, and then when JD Vance had become a senator, I was thrilled that he and I worked together. He introduced the Senate counterpart to my bill, Protect Children's Innocence Act. So I'm telling you, I'm really happy with President Trump's selection, and I think America will be pleased.
You talk to President Trump regularly. Last night, I mean, I'm an emotional guy. I was a blubbering idiot to watch him come out and listen to Lee Greenwood, who's going to join us here as well in about a half hour, singing "God Bless the USA." Can you give us an overview of how you feel President Trump is feeling, what he's saying? There's a lot of reports that he's really going to stress unity Thursday night in his acceptance speech.
Well, I mean, I think as many people saw, President Trump was emotional coming out into the crowd last night among all the people who love him and support him. All 50 states nominated him at the convention this year. I mean, that's making history. But President Trump is the people's president. Right. And everyone knows that is becoming clear to the entire world. Yeah. And so it was wonderful to see him out there amongst the people. And, I think he's still processing. It's going to take him some time to process what happened. But the biggest, most remarkable thing that we saw from President Trump after being shot by an assassin that wanted to murder him because of the political rhetoric and the evil left and how the media has basically vilified him, is he stood to his feet, fist in the air, and yelled, "Fight, fight, fight."
Man, what a moment.
But he also walked away knowing the reason why he was still alive, and it's because God saved him.
A lot of prayers. People have been praying for his safety for a long time. Prayer works. If you don't mind, I know how busy you are, but I want to ask you about oversight in the Secret Service. If you can stay with us, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from Media Row here at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Stay with us. There's a lot more coming up.
Mike Gallagher.
Woman Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's the Georgia representative of the 14th Congressional District. Congresswoman, there better be accountability over Saturday night in Pennsylvania. I want to play for you Alejandro Mayorkas, not one of my favorite people in the country. I don't know how the guy still has a job. Here's what he said yesterday to from the podium about the confidence he has in the U.S. Secret Service and the director, Director Cheadle.
Sorry, Mr. Secretary, on that, does the president have confidence in the Secret Service director after Saturday's failures?
I have 100% confidence in the director of the United States Secret Service. I have 100% confidence in the United States Secret Service. And what you saw on stage on Saturday with respect to individuals putting their own lives at risk for the protection of another is exactly what the American public should see every single day. It is what I indeed do.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're a prominent member of Congress. You guys have the power to investigate, to scrutinize. When you hear that, what's your reaction to the Homeland Security Chief, who's her boss, saying he's got 100% confidence in her?
Well, Mike, I absolutely agree with you about Secretary Mayorkas. That's why I led the effort in the House to impeach him. Those articles of impeachment that passed the House, those are my articles of impeachment. They have my name on them. Secretary Mayorkas is a traitor to our nation. Not only should he be impeached, I believe he should be prosecuted. He has opened our borders and basically led the invasion into our country with the policies that he supports and that he is enforcing with Homeland. But even worse, he's over the Secret Service that completely failed in unbelievable ways protecting the life of Donald John Trump, our former president, and also hopefully our next president of the United States. And I sit on the Oversight Committee and Homeland, and both of those committees we are investigating, and we are ramping up right now. I know everybody's demanding, like, why aren't Republicans doing something? And I totally feel that anger and passion, but we are. We're at our convention this week. But what people don't know is what's happening behind the scenes. Both of our committees, we're having phone calls every single day. Our staff is working diligently, and we are lining up hearings that America will see start literally next week on Monday. And I can't wait to rip into Secretary Mayorkas, and I cannot wait to talk to that DEI hire Secret Service director. What a failure. Shame on her. She should resign. And this country is not going to tolerate these failures.
You know, Democrats love to screech about January 6th, and they've locked people up, and there are people who are rotting in behind bars. They want some investigations being done. There better be a July 13th committee. There better be a July 13th investigation, because President Trump was about a couple of millimeters away from losing his life. And Congresswoman, I don't know what this country would have been like if that guy had been successful in killing him.
Oh, we would be in utter chaos right now. And you know, the left has done this. The media has done this. You know, the media's job is to report the news. It's not to be political activism and basically abuse their power in order to brainwash this country. And that is absolutely what they've done to people. But here's the reality. There should be a July 13th committee, absolutely. But that's Speaker Johnson, and I'm tough on him all the time because we hold power in the House of Representatives right now. Speaker of the House is one of the most powerful Republicans in the country, and he alone could make these things happen.
Will he?
You know what? America needs to call his office and demand he do it. I know I'm constantly pushing him. Pushed him so hard that I tried to vacate him from the chair after he totally passed Biden's Democrat agenda with a two-part omnibus, reauthorized FISA, warrantless spying on Americans, and sent another $60 billion of our hard-earned tax dollars to Ukraine. Yeah, we can do a lot. And let me tell you, here's something everybody needs to know. September 30th, there is a government funding deadline coming.
Right.
We have the power of the purse. We can do anything we want when we hold that checkbook.
She's a fighter, and I got to ask Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene the final question. I'm a little bit nervous about the way things are going for our side, because it feels like we're getting victory after victory. Yesterday, that bogus criminal case dropped against President Trump. He survives an assassination attempt. We've got people feeling unified. Does it make you nervous like it does me that too many things are going pretty good for us right now?
Yeah, look here, I'm a football fan, and we're supposed to be driving the ball down the field right now. We're not doing one big long pass. This is a game of inches,
right? And
we move the ball, and that's what we did. But let me tell you something. The Democrats are coming, and they're going to move the ball too. And our biggest thing we have to watch for is election fraud, because the Democrats will do anything to stop Donald Trump. They lie every single day and say he's the biggest threat to democracy. They call him Hitler. They call him a Nazi. They call him a fascist. They want the man dead. And their radical supporters and their ground troops are even on social media, demanding that someone else shoot him in the head again. And they're angry the shooter missed. We never should forget who our opponents are, who our enemies are, and we need to keep our heads down, and we need to continue driving that ball all the way down the field.
And by the way, Congressman, those are the same people who are telling us we need to tone down the rhetoric.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you almost can't make it up. Yeah, now he's Hitler. He's worse than Mussolini. But you Republicans, you tone it. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, would you tone it down a little bit?
Oh, yeah. They love to tell me to tone it. Not a chance.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
Keep fighting a good fight. It's great to see you in person,
you
Congresswoman. And anytime I take a selfie that you don't know about it, I'll make sure I get your permission. Make sure I can. Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks, Mike.
Great seeing you. We appreciate it. Thanks, many thanks to your team for bringing you over.